Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Far Cry 5. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today we're picking up Adelaide. Let's get to it. So Adelaide's one of the specialist gun for hires that you can get. She rides in a helicopter and you can call her in and you can have her put the helicopter down and you can get in before you have any of your own helicopters and get to areas a little bit quicker than if you did it on foot or even by car. So if you have a sniper gun for hire or Grace Armstrong, this will make it a little bit easier to take out the outpost quietly. If you just want to go in guns blazing, it doesn't matter who you have. If you have the leadership perk, you'll be able to have two guns for hire. So if you have Grace Armstrong and another sniper, or you can use Jess Black and Grace Armstrong. But like I said, if you want to go in guns blazing, it may not matter that much. There's not a lot of or relatively no vehicles at the outposts that you have to go to. There are 3 outposts. The first 2 are going to be basically the same. There's going to be guys walking around and then one female. So apparently the helicopter pilots in Hope County were all female, and one of the Peggies that also happened to be male stole Adelaide's helicopter. So if you found the pilot that was a male, then you knew that that was her helicopter since they repainted it. Now, a lot of the outposts will have gun emplacements or mortars, so if you go in guns blazing, just make sure that you understand that and plan accordingly. If you have a sniper rifle with a silencer on it, it'll make it a little bit easier. It'll be a little bit more difficult for them to figure out where you're shooting from. They won't be alerted immediately. They'll come in your direction, but they won't be alerted, so they won't be calling in reinforcements. Now, once you take out the perimeter guards, and hopefully you were able to scout it out and figure out where everyone's at, take out the leader, and then move on to the second one. You should still have the ability to grab that helicopter that's sitting there, so you can get from one place to another relatively quickly. And always make sure you check out the outpost that you took out, because there may be a prepper notice or a perk magazine or a hunting or fishing guide or a map. So make sure you pick all that stuff up before you leave the area, because it'll ultimately help you out. Now, once you get 2 of them done, they'll have you go to a lookout, and then you have to figure out where the 3rd outpost is, which is where Adelaide's helicopter will be. Now, once you find the outpost and you figure out where Tulip is at, then you can start planning what you want to do. Now, the rub with this one, the 3rd outpost, is that the pilot will move between 2 different outposts. So in order to make a plan, you'll have to take out the pilot shortly after he lands, because the pilot will only be at one outpost for about 1 to 2 minutes before taking off for the other one. And you'll be alerting the outpost if the helicopter is in the air and you're close by, because it'll be easier for the helicopter pilot to see you. So if you're going in quietly, make sure that you tag all the enemies. Even if you're going to go in guns blazing, it doesn't hurt to have the enemies tagged, so at least you'll know where they're at all times and where they're coming from. So if you decide on one outpost and the helicopter just takes off, you may have to wait for a minute for it to come back, or two, because it does take a minute for it to go from one place to the other. Or if you're going to go to the other one, say, well, I was going to go to this outpost, but he just left, so I'm going to go to the other one. Well, you can certainly do that, but if you're always following him, you may get to the outpost just in time for the pilot to leave. So as soon as he leaves the helicopter, you need to start making your move. Have your gun for hire help you out. If there's a guy that's on a roof that isn't a sniper, more than likely there's a gun emplacement there. So it would be a really good idea to take that guy out. If you have a sniper, it'll make it a little bit easier. If you have a bow and arrow, you'll have to account for the considerable drop in the arrow over distance. So once you take out the pilot, just take out the rest of the guys and try not to get yourself taken out by things like explosions. But that's what the gun for hire is there for. They don't always work. You can't always rely on them to bring you up. But in my experience, about half the time they're able to bring you up without a problem. If there's a lot of enemies, then it could be an issue. But once you get into the helicopter, all you have to do is drive it back to the Drebman Marina. There will be some enemies along the way that you have to take out. Usually there's one helicopter that's in the area that you'll have to take out. The rest of the guys you can usually just run past. Usually you don't have to worry about RPGs on the way. Once you get back to the marina, you'll find that Peggies have come in to attack, and you'll have to take them out. You can land the helicopter so you don't have to worry about it getting damaged, or you can use the helicopter's guns to take out the Peggies. There are 3 or 4 vehicles, and then however many Peggies that show up. There may be reinforcements that are called in, and you'll have to take care of those. I find that the helicopter is pretty fun to use. If you have your own helicopter that has guns and rockets, that's even more exciting because the vehicles are a lot easier to take out. You can take it out with one volley of rockets rather than using half a magazine, I guess, of bullets. Have to wait for the bullets to regenerate if you use all of them trying to take out a vehicle. If the Peggies are next to the vehicle, when you blow it up, it'll normally take them out, or at least blow them back so they're not undercover. Whether you can see them or not, there will be a red arrow in the general direction of which they are, which will help you out. If you need to, you can lower your altitude, and that will give you a little bit better indication of where they're at. Also look for the muzzle flash of the Peggy shooting at you. If you start to have a lot of damage on the helicopter, because there is a gauge at the top left, then you can go and take it and go ahead and land the helicopter, because if the helicopter gets destroyed, then the mission's a failure, and you'll have to start at the last checkpoint. When you clear them out, go ahead and talk to Adelaide. She'll be added to your roster. Hopefully there aren't any Peggies to interrupt your conversation, like mine. But otherwise, that's it. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.
Downward facing dog. Anyways, thanks again, hon. I owe ya. Hey,